Scrumdown and Stone Bitter, bringing you the best in rugby league.
Third Division Dewsbury are no strangers to Wembley. They played in Rugby League's very first final there, and today they're back on the Challenge Cup trail against First Division Featherstone. 10 months on from the historic day they said farewell to a century of rugby at their old ground, Crown Flat, Dewsbury and their loyal band of followers, no victory today, would put the gloss on their new era. There's a real whiff of giant killing in the air. Not here, of course. They've flattened Crown Flat to build a new estate. Dressing rooms replaced by living rooms. So until their new stadium is built across town, Dewsbury are here sharing Batley's ground at Mount Pleasant and determined that being lodgers won't halt their revival.
Well, it's a rebirth, isn't it? We sold the old Crown Flat, hopefully having a new stadium, but that's another story. Here, yes, we beat Lee in the first round, played very, very attractive football, and here today, well, let's hope we can beat Featherstone.
And Dewsbury's team is surely their most exciting for years, featuring Kenya's Eddie Rombo. 12 months ago exactly, the Eagle landed over the Dewsbury try line, twice to help Leeds into the Challenge Cup third round. Relishing the rivalry on the opposite flank, last season's top scorer for Dewsbury, Dennis Bailey. Surely a handful for Featherstone today. And with Marquis Charles back for his second spell, powering through the centre after gaining experience at Hull and Bramley, Dewsbury might exploit Featherstone's defensive frailty.
I think there'll be a lot of people rooting for us. We've got the ability to get there. If Featherstone aren't just on song, we've got the chance to go there.
He's under no illusions, of course. Featherstone should hold most of the aces and a joker. They got used to this ground in knocking out Batley here in round one. Nonetheless, since Martin Pearson's 4 spectacular tries helped them to that Regal Trophy massacre of Halifax in November, they've gone right off the boil.
This is defence really that's let us down in recent weeks. We have got the attacking ability. Just the Halifax game was a tremendous game for the lads, and they came through it well. But you've got to be consistent in today's rugby league, and unfortunately we're not. We're a side that's up and down.
Here's today's lineup. Ian Smales reverts to the second row because his standoff position has gone to Pearson. Andy Fisher, who's had some outstanding games this season, moves from the second row to loose forward. And Gary Price, who's normally battling for a second row spot, continues at prop where he's seized his chance. Dewsbury are unchanged. Paul Shuttleworth began the season at standoff but scored a try in the first round victory over Lee from scrum half. Paul Delaney, the former Leeds scrum half, has taken over Shuttleworth's standoff role in the last couple of months, while Paul Hughes, frequently a scrum-down try-scorer as a Featherstone winger, faces his old teammates in the second row. Well, you never know this is only a temporary home for Dewsbury, would you? An expectant atmosphere as they try to become the first ever third division team to reach the Challenge Cup quarter-final. Doncaster, of course, have the same aim. We'll see them later at Halifax, plus Hull at Sheffield, a new jigsaw, and a try for boxer Gary Mason in his first game of rugby league. But now we join our commentators, David Watkins and John Hell.
It's the most romantic tie of the round, and there was a big roar went up from the Dewsbury fans just before kick-off when Dewsbury won the toss, and that means that they'll be playing down the hill in the second half, and that's a big psychological blow for them already.
It certainly is, because contrary to all belief, it'll be Featherstone will be worrying as much about this Dewsbury side as ever Dewsbury will worry, because their coach Norman Smith has said, go out, enjoy yourselves, and what they have to do is to get amongst them first of all. If they can do that and unsettle them, who knows?
And it is certainly the classic cup tie with the team riding high in Division 3 at home against the struggling side from Division 1. But Featherstone, with that victory here against Batley 2 weeks ago, should not certainly be overawed. It's a rather muddy pitch today, in direct contrast to the conditions for that Batley match, and it was very hard. And offside awarded straight away by referee John Connolly from Wigan. Dewsbury have been invincible here at Mount Pleasant. What about that for a record? Formidable. But it's Featherstone on the attack, coming down this prodigious slope. Chris Burton brought in by Derek Fox, first man up. And Fox will be the orchestrator as always. Got away by Gary Rose, and they'll flight along that line. And Fisher tries to make a break and gets inside the 25. Clark and Fox in unison now. And Fox sprints to within a few yards of that Dewsbury line. Promising start for Alan Agar's side, and remember Agar played here for Dewsbury as well, so he knows all about this ground, and Trevor Clark is the latest man in. Ball lost, and the whistle must sound.
Well, that's a good start by Featherstone. They come here, of course, with trepidations, but they positively handled the ball. They've moved forward. They have been met initially by some resolute tackling. But it is a penalty now to Featherstone, so this could be the opportunity for them to have an early advantage.
There's a lovely West Yorkshire backcloth here at Mount Pleasant. The hills in the background, and Derek Fox knows all about them. He lives in the hills of Dewsbury. And he's got the chance here to register the first points of the game. Fox then to give Featherstone Rovers a 2-point lead. Delaney. Hughes wants it. Every player always wants to turn it on against his old club, and Hughes is no exception today. Penalty for Dewsbury.
Well, the signs are good in this game so far, because both sides have made very few handling errors, and if any at all, a result of which has been very positive rugby shown by both sides.
And Neil Kelly, who had a spell with Featherstone after he left Wakefield Trinity, was the one who put that one out. And this now is Glenn Bell. Coghlan. Held by Chris Burton, who was then aided and abetted by Gary Rose. Switch of play from Kelly. Nicely done, good move. Graham came into it. And again, Dewsbury are camped inside Featherstone's 25. And if they could just get the first try, that would really set them up, I imagine. The ball was knocked back. So once more they come with Dean Hall, and this is a terrific run from the second row man Hall. That struck the boot, and that means he can continue. And he's going to score here, Nathan Graham. Maybe, no. The ball is put out of play. Graham coming up from fullback, nearly got the critical touch.
Well, all this came from a mistake, but they were confident enough to pick the ball back up and move it out. And really here, although the pass goes to ground, it was kicked forward by Graham. And really here, it was only a mix-up, really, by everybody in defence that allowed the ball to go dead.
Shuttleworth at the hub of it again. The ball inside is for Marquis Charles, who's just started his second spell with this club after going to Hull and then Bramley. Kelly will kick, but this time it should be accepted by Spencer Longstaff, who's not the biggest wingman you've ever seen, but he knocked away Kelly all right. Fox. Good. Well, certainly no impression given yet of this one being a runaway win for anyone.
Well, there certainly hasn't. Their enterprise has been superb. They've moved the ball well, they've backed up. There's been a veteran awareness than I've seen from a lot of sides in the third division, and they really are putting on a sparkling performance to start with.
Paul Worthy, 6'3", 17 stone, who left Leeds to make a career for himself here. Hall, who's an excellent runner in the second row. It's the second time he's made good yardage. From Shuttleworth to Delaney. Along the line it comes. Charles is the next man up. He just couldn't cling on. So Chris Burton has it, and he'll give Longstaff another run straight into Bailey's welcoming arms. Good to see Chris Burton back firing on all cylinders as well. He's been a terrific servant to the game of rugby league.
Well, he certainly has, and he's still going as strong as ever. Charging runs, strength, plenty of aggression.
Now it's Trevor Clark, another of the old hands in the Featherstone side. Dewsbury coming up quickly to make sure Featherstone haven't got a lot of space, but that time Fox got a superb ball away, and Fisher might well create the first score of the afternoon here now. The ball is back inside, and surely it's going to be a score for Chris Bibb.
Well, this is really first division football, because what we have to look for here is the way in which Fox prized the opening over. But not only that, it's the backing up on either side. Perhaps the wrong option was taken initially, but because of the numbers in backing up, Bibb was allowed to pick up and score.
Chris Bibb scored the last time Featherstone Rovers played against Dewsbury. He also scored here against Batley 2 weeks ago, and the first man on the try sheet today. So the aid of Trevor Clark has been enlisted to keep the ball steady. It is rather blustery here at Mount Pleasant, and Derek Fox kicks a very good goal indeed to go with Chris Bibb's try and to give Featherstone an 8-point cushion.
This try was a result of Fisher's angled run and the number of people backing up the man with the ball. Allowed Bibb now to really canter over.
This time it's Gary Rose barging up the middle. That try owed a lot as well, David, to two initial probing runs by Chris Burton and Gary Rose.
Well, that's right, John. The thing is this, that was a superb pass of Derek Fox's. It was an angled run against the play going across the field, which means that he was running away from the defence to start with. And, of course, it is superb backing up as one would expect from a First Division side.
Bibb again, he's carved open again, and Chris Bibb is going to get his second try in 2 minutes. A more spectacular one, just as valuable, if not even more so.
After the first try, this was a killer blow, but it was a superbly timed run by Bibb. And look how the backers are still there again with him, but really, he had enough time to go over himself.
Well, it must be a marvellous feeling to score a try, and then to get another one 2 minutes later really is icing on the cake. 10 tries now for Bibb this season, and he obviously enjoys playing here at Mount Pleasant. Dewsbury had been holding Featherstone extremely well until that moment when Bibb found a way through for the first try. He's now got 2, and Derek Fox has got 2 goals to go with them, and Featherstone lead 14-0.
A killer blow this, because they just scored once, the kick-off had taken place, and it allowed Bibb to sprint down the middle of the field. A bemused defence, caught off guard, caught off balance, and Bibb takes all and full advantage.
It's Dewsbury now, and this man Hughes, he has some storming runs. He's the one who really looks to be carrying the fight to Featherstone. He's an ex-winger, of course, so he's got pace. Featherstone's tackling again, excellent. Fisher's having a good game at loose forward. Good reverse ball, lovely. It's a nice switch inside there to Hall. But that's 6 tackles got through, and Featherstone will restart play inside Dewsbury's half, and that's incentive enough for Trevor Clark to gain 10 yards to begin with. Fox. Difficult ball, he took it down by his boot laces, and Dewsbury will fall on it gratefully. It's going to be a scrum though, and there was a knock-up.
That's something Dewsbury have now got to do, of course, is they've got to come up very quickly themselves. They've got to be very careful as well at the same time. They don't force themselves off sides, but they really have to come up quickly on the outside, because they know already how fast this Featherstone side can be when they see gaps in the defence.
Delaney has made half a break here. Worthy once more. Shuttleworth. The Dewsbury pack certainly wore down Lee in the last round. They had no answer to them, and they'll keep going. They are mobile, and so especially is Hughes here yet again.
Well, he really has impressed, because his running has always been strong and forceful, always looking for the gap between two men, not just running into somebody.
Lovely ball, passed out to Coghlan. That was delightfully done by Delaney. Kelly switches it and tries to dribble through, but it's Burton who falls on it. And I was talking to Alan Agar during the week, and he says Chris Burton is playing wonderfully well. He's been in the game a long time, but he's playing as well as ever.
Well, you can't put it's his experience. You can't buy experience. It really is something that you grow up with over a period of time. And he certainly has been around long enough to know exactly what to do at the right time.
And here is Burton now, coming onto that reverse ball. Clark, Fox, this looks dangerous. Smales slipping it away, and Clark keeps the move going. He's got Bibb inside him, looking for a hat-trick, but the move is switched to the left, and this will be a Paul Newlove score for Featherstone, and that might be good enough to clinch it even as early as this.
It's been the ability to break the defence seemingly when they want to. It's strong running first of all, which forces the gap. Trevor Clark takes the ball, sees that there's nobody with him, and then does Bibb. But it's the way in which they have people backing up all the time. Newlove there on the outside, and really it's only from the other side of the field there's any recompense of a defence.
He'll be playing in Perpignan in a week's time for Great Britain against France, and an absolute certainty for the next tour to Australia, Paul Newlove. So his 22nd try of this season gives Derek Fox another chance to push Featherstone further towards round 3, but that's gone wide. And for the moment, Rovers have to be content with an 18-point advantage.
We'll just take it from here, and you can see that already again it's the understanding they have as a team. One would expect it from a First Division side, but really players on the outside, the defence left for dead, and Newlove goes over.
Well, Dewsbury knew it was going to be a formidable task. They really did fancy their chances before this one, but they know now that it's going to be a very, very brave performance that will get them through this.
Well, Dewsbury, what they have to do now really is that they have to stick to their guns. They still have to try and persist in playing the game that comes natural to them. And if they can hang on in, who knows, the second half, they might be able to do the same thing. That's the only thing they can hope for. They've got to stick at it.
Graham's coming up now for them, and they're 15 yards out. Graham, who's come closest to scoring for Dewes so far. Hughes, again willing to get involved. His strength keeps him in field. Kelly acting half-back. Now Delaney, switching it with Shuttleworth, and then running smack into Chris Burton. 3 tackles gone, 3 to come. Wasn't a very good ball, but here's Glenn Bell, and it's gone to ground. No knock on, says the referee. But again he says no knock on, and Coghlan now gets closer to the Featherstone line. And it's gone back to 6 more tackles for Dewsbury, so encouragement for them. They just need to get something to bring this match back into focus. The ball has been lost there, and a penalty is given to the home side. They've got to make this count now.
They have to make it count, yes. It's important that they set it up now. They mustn't rush through this. They've got to use these 6 play the balls, and they've got to get something from it.
What have they been doing in training during the week? We shall see from this. Bell was first in. Now it's short. And Shuttleworth and brings on this man Hughes. Paul Hughes, 5 yards out, had a really roaring then. The Featherstone line has held so far. Shuttleworth, now Delaney. They've got to try and get it out as far as Rombo, unless Charles switches it back in field. And this will be a Dewsbury score! Paul Delaney has wriggled his way over the Featherstone line. Dewsbury are on the board.
A lot of people would have said, because they are so far behind now, that they were persistent in ploughing up the middle. That certainly wasn't the case. It was really an opportunity cut out here in the midfield here. Delaney comes inside to take the ball, and he goes over for a justified score. Just watch the way they move the ball now. They haven't persisted in going up the middle. It wasn't everybody head down, take the pass and score. It was really a constructive move. Allow Delaney to take it and take 2 defenders over with him.
Delaney got his 12th try of the season at that moment, and a lot of the credit went to Marquis Charles, who made the penetrating burst close to the line to send him in. And this is Chris Vase's chance to convert and to kick his 70th goal of the season. Dewsbury are on the try sheet, and they're not quite on the goal sheet to go with it. Disappointing that for Vase.
That was unfortunate, really.
Paul Delaney, the bricklayer, extends his recent sequence to 4 tries in 7 matches. Well, that's an unusual sight. The man in the headgear is Terry Manning, the Featherstone Rovers substitute. I take it he's going to take the cap off if he actually gets on the field. That would be a first. There's Dennis Bailey ploughing up the middle, and a penalty is given against Fisher. Fisher, who's had his disciplinary problems this season, he's been sent off a couple of times. And referee Connolly had no doubt in his mind there that that was an offence, and Dewsbury trying to catch them napping. Inside for Charles from Kelly.
Well, they will depend on Marcus Charles now. First team experience with Hull, and he's the sort of one that can gee them up and give them that little inspiration that they still require to bring the scores closer.
And well done here to Neil Kelly, who still gets his pass in, and a sprint by Shuttleworth. They really are an enterprising side, to say there, from the 3rd division. That's not to decry the game at all. I think the 3rd division has been a big success. Now it's Graham, and he's found a gap as well, and Featherstone are rocking a little bit now. Every time Dewsbury get up there, they look that bit more vulnerable. And this has been good enterprising work from Dewsbury. And they come up in a line, and the ball is slipped, and Hughes, it was a brave tackle on him by Fisher.
You say brave tackle, is brave running as well by him, because he took that ball really on the burst, which means that everybody who tackles him really has to knock him.
Kelly's kick, Charles looked to get it back and just couldn't get his man over. If they'd have scored again, they were right back in the match.
Little unfortunate, a little more time with that pass, perhaps with 2 men on the outside, really could have put them back in with a chance.
It certainly brought Terry Hudson off the bench.
Take it again, just watch this here, it's a kick through here. Look how it bounces, Marcus Charles picks up, it's that flip, just came back around on itself really, allowed Featherstone to recover.
Fox missed out Burton, gave it to Bibb instead. And some were calling for a trip there, but the referee said not. Tripping is a very difficult thing to adjudge in rugby league. Although Bibb is undoubtedly injured. Gary Rose, still Gary Rose! Gary Rose, 5 yards out. Critical moments these for Dewsbury. They mustn't concede another try if they're to stay in the game. Wasn't Fox's best ball, but Clark tries to make something from it. And this will be the last tackle. I suppose a drop goal might not be out of the question. Fox, that's exactly what he's going to attempt, and he chips it high and through the middle, and it's another point for Featherstone and for Fox.
Well, that was really the best thing to do then. They'd had all that pressure, they'd got down into the half, they'd won the ball, 6 play the balls, nothing to lose, and of course a point to take home with them back up in their half.
They love it, those fellas, don't they? Big smiles on their faces as they go into the scrum, and it's going to come out on the Featherstone side. One last dart for a try, maybe. Pearson's involved, tries to go up the middle. It's nailed with a good tackle right on the hooter. And a very good half indeed, which Featherstone have certainly enjoyed. They've scored 3 tries to 1, 2 of them by Chris Bibb in the space of 2 minutes, which could turn out to be absolutely killer blows to Dewsbury's hopes. So it's 19 points to 4 then. Just the one try by Paul Delaney for Dewsbury, 2 by Chris Berber and 1 by Paul Newlap for Featherstone Rovers. Fox has kicked 3 goals and a drop goal. 19-4 to Featherstone. We'll have the second half home of Dewsbury for this Silk Cut Challenge Cup second round tie against Featherstone Rovers, who lead 19-4. Dewsbury will be playing down the hill in the second half, but they face an uphill task if they're going to win it. Let's hear from their coach, Norman Smith, with Nick.
Norman, you're down but not yet out, I would say.
No, we're never out of it and down this slope. We've been in this position before. No, not against first division opposition, but I believe they've had a little bit of luck. They've got a little bit of pace, obviously first division outfit, but they've had the bounce of the ball and we haven't let it run out on us. But let's hope we can change it this half.
Thanks very much indeed, Norman.
Cheers.
A realistic assessment then from Norman Smith. He knows there's a big job on Dewsbury's hands. A third division side, let's forget that. And they've not been through to the quarter-finals of the Cup since 1977. Here are the statistics of that first half. Even Stephen in the scrum, 6 apiece. None against the head. But the penalties, Dewsbury have conceded only 2. That's great credit to them. Featherstone 6. And the errors, that's not bad either. Dewsbury have made 8 and Featherstone just 7. And this is Featherstone coming up the hill with Andy Fisher, and a good romping run from the loose forward. He was looking for support either side of him. Dewsbury kept pace. Fox steadies the ship, swings it right for Trevor Clark. He'll bring Spencer Longstaff into it. Clark once more going from acting half-back, defeated by Graham. Eddie Rombo, Eddie the Eagle they call him, and they'll be looking to him to fly high in this second half. Now Gary Rose had been looking for it and puts a brilliant ball in for Smales to take it on another 10 or 15 yards. That was good play. Fox. There's the kick through, which will find a touch. Exactly what he was looking for. And he must surely be favourite to take over the Great Britain scrum half role now that Andy Gregory is retired.
Well, he's a player of immense skill and wide vision and tons of experience. And that's what we'll be looking for in France. But that's what Featherstone look for nearly every weekend of Derek Fox. And every game they play, he always plays a very major part in what they do.
Close to 1,000 points here. Now the chase is on, and Marquis Charles and Dennis Bailey are racing down this hill. This is a thrilling moment in the match, and Longstaff is able to kick it dead. That's a ploy that Dewsbury do adopt here, down the hill, and it's a nightmare for defenders.
Well, there you are. You asked the question early on, does the slope make an advantage? And that certainly is a tactic that they would well be advised to employ quite often, because with 2 quick wingers, a long ball down the middle of the field over the fullback's head means he has to turn. Even if he has it, he's still got to come all the way back up the field.
Credit Longstaff with keeping cool there. His father Paul would have been proud of him. Paul, the former Hull Kingston Rovers player. This is Delaney now. And if Dewsbury could get the first score of this half, it will lift their morale no end. Here's Dean Hall. Hall down, 6-7 yards out. Promising this for Dewsbury. Hall looks a trifle hurt. Kelly, Shuttleworth, Delaney, good build-up. They might have a spare man out on the right. Crazy, he might go there. He's got Rombo in. Eddie Rombo scores. Just what the doctor ordered for Dewsbury.
Their persistent to play open football has paid dividends. Moving the ball out here to Vasey in the centre as he goes round the man. A superb time pass to Rombo, puts him over in the corner.
And Rombo's try means that we've got a game on again now, because that's his 8th for Dewsbury. He gives the wave as well. He rather enjoys scoring tries. Very difficult kick for Vasey. Remember, he left Dewsbury, had a spell at Headingley with Leeds, and has now returned to this club. It's a very, very good kick from Chris Vasey. And that's excellent, it really is. And what a boost for Dewsbury. A try from Rombo, a goal from Vasey to go with it.
this move illustrates why they've been successful in the 3rd division. They've moved the ball well, but although it was a good pass out, he had to stretch to catch it, and Rombo did just that to take him over in the corner.
Featherstone are professional enough to know they've got a task on now in holding Dewsbury, who can be rampant against teams when they do come down this slope.
And rightly so. The cheer went up at the start of the game that it was an advantage, and we saw that long kick down the middle of the field, which gave them the position from which they scored.
But this will encourage them. The ball was lost in the tackle by Paul Worthy. And Featherstone are now inside Dewsbury's 25 and looking for their own first score of this second half. Trevor Clark. Martin Pearson has limped off down onto a left wing position. Clark and Fox. Gary Rose. The ball is for wingman Simpson. Pearson out of it for the moment, and Tim Sharp looking to get on as Rose gives the ball for Newell, and it was a forward ball. Well, Martin Pearson obviously having his knee strapped, as you can see, by physiotherapist David Sharp. And, one wonders if that's the end of the game for Martin Pearson. It looks as though it might be. He's in considerable trouble. Clark and Fox. If this one is picked up by Coghlan, there might have been problems, but it wasn't. So Fisher once more for Featherstone. Still gets that ball away. He was able to stand up and offload to Ian Smales. Clark always seems to be the first man at acting half-back. Wants to get involved all the time, the hooker. Fox may have thought of the chip over the top. Instead he fed Rose. Fox keeps them coming forward. The ball this time not too good though. Bodies all over the place, and it was Featherstone Smales who reacted smartest. And 6 more tackles for Featherstone Rovers, and this could be a crucial moment again as Andy Fisher gets the ball away. And once more there is danger to that Dewsbury line, and this will be a score for Spencer Longstaff. Only his second ever in Featherstone's first team.
Consistency and the ability really to chase the ball when it was on the floor. There was no chance of it being picked up in the first place before this movement started, but Smales went down in on it, and then it was just moved out to the right, and Longstaff gets over in the corner because they've gone outside the defence.
Great moment for the son of the former rugby league player Paul Longstaff. His only previous try was in the Regal Trophy against Bramley, and that's come at a very good time for Featherstone. The home supporters felt that there should have been a scrum just before that when Smales dived on the ball and sent Featherstone going forward. Very difficult kick for Fox from right over in front of those supporters by the low stand, and that surely won't find the range. No, it doesn't. But nonetheless, Featherstone are 23-10 to the good.
Every coaching manual will say you'll have to get the loose ball. This all resulted in this loose ball being caught and won by Featherstone Rovers. The ball moved out very quickly, catches the defence on the hop, and the try is result in the corner.
The new man on will be John Bastian, who joined Dewsbury early this season from Featherstone Rovers. He's 6'2", he's 17 stone 7, and he's on to replace Dean Hall. Alan Agar knows the feeling of success at Wembley. He led Featherstone Rovers to victory in 1983. He'd love to go there again. Sharp That's a good ball, and Smales, and they'll come forward in numbers now. Once more, Featherstone Rovers. Once more, it's the Dewsbury line that's looking slightly vulnerable, although it's knocked down and fallen on for Dewsbury. Seen as a knock-on by referee Connolly, and we'll have a scrum.
The interesting feature now of Featherstone's play is that the man, when he's tackled, gets up and plays it as quickly as possible. That, of course, keeps the momentum going forward, and that really means that the Dewsbury defenders, when they come up, they've got to go back very quickly and mark a man, and it's very difficult to do that when you move the ball so quickly.
And Featherstone are looking good for round 3. They lead by a good 13 points, and they're good value as well. They really knocked the stuffing out of Dewsbury in that first half, and they had the advantage of the slope. Sharp and Fox, who tries to conjure something up again, and Fox goes to the line himself. Owen Simpson's just got Bailey to beat. He tried to hurl it inside. Bailey just made sure he couldn't get it in the corner, and the score remains the same.
Again, it's quick passing of the ball, a move which is obviously well rehearsed, moving it out wide, strong tackling, able to slip the ball and the man. Look at the defence coming over, long ball out to the wing. Wing comes in to bring it back inside.
Featherstone just know they've got to do nothing silly now, and they'll be there. That's a good ball. Smales, Sharp has got support on his left, and this is Gary Price. Chris Bibbs up alongside him, and Chris Bibb is trying to go all the way for a hat-trick try. Pull down, but they're only 15 yards out from another score. Featherstone Rovers, it's knocked forward, and it's picked up gratefully by Bastian of Featherstone. Bastian of Dewsbury, rather. We're so used to saying Bastian of Featherstone. Forget he's now Dewsbury. Here's Marquis Charles going down the middle, and this is important for Featherstone and for Longstaff. He's put it down. Charles has it. The referee says play on. Charles appears to have got a knock on the head. Dewsbury, even if they could get the final score, would consider they've got some glory from the match. It's moved right. It's got to be picked up by a pair of Dewsbury hands still. It's Kelly. It's Bailey. Bailey up the middle. Tries to sell the dummy. Still Bailey. The ball inside for Nathan Graham. And Graham is pulled down a yard out. Grandstand finished by Dewsbury, though. They want this final try of the match. Shuttleworth drives in. Good tackle holding them up. Again, only 2 yards out from the try line. Dewsbury, a huge ball is flung out, and it's flung into space and picked up and knocked on by Clark. And what a shame that Dewsbury at least couldn't have had a final try.
Well, that really says it all, because they had the opportunity then to perhaps score. They caught the defence hopping, but really it says much for Featherstone's defence that they could come back in numbers and nullify the whole thing. Then it was as quick as they could get it across the field. Ball went to ground, but although it is Featherstone has knocked on, Dewsbury have got another chance.
They have. Shuttleworth. Oh, Delaney puts it down this time, and that allows Bibb to run it out from inside his own 25. He's got the butt away as well for Ikram, but Dewsbury, their own worst enemies there, twice. Here goes Paul Newlover. This is a storming run from him too. Well, we've all enjoyed every minute of a rousing encounter. Alan Agar leaves his seat as Chris Burton comes and makes valuable ground. But we're not far away from the final hooter now, and it's going to be Featherstone Rovers who make it through to the next round of the Challenge Cup, even with bad batting like that. Dewsbury's last run, surely. Delaney won't get much further than halfway. Oh, and up the middle goes Hughes, and if Paul Hughes can make it past Bibb, he might score yet. No. And that is it. So the final hooter has sounded, and it's Featherstone Rovers who go through despite a valiant effort by Dewsbury. Featherstone Rovers are into the last 8 of the Challenge Cup.
Chris Bibb, 2 tries, man of the match. You couldn't have done much more, could you?
Well, can't complain. We come away with a win, so, you know, tries don't really matter as long as we win it, and really.
You looked absolutely exhausted at the end. They gave you a hard run.
Yeah, well, we know when we you know, played Batley 2 weeks ago, we're going to be hard, and obviously, Jules, we've been playing really well at 3rd division, so we know it won't going to be easy today, and it proved it with match that we've had.
And the Twin Towers are getting a little bit nearer.
Yeah, I'll just take games as it come, really. Don't want to get my dreams too high.
Thanks both.
A little bit nearer indeed. 2 tries for Dewsbury today from Paul Delaney and Eddie Rombo. But those 2 tries from Chris Bibb, along with the ones from Newlove and Longstaff, have been good enough to carry Featherstone through. 23-10. David, what was the turning point?
Well, full-back is without doubt a key position. It's also a position which can exploit weaknesses in opposing defences. That was the case today. Bibb scoring his 2nd try after the restart of his 1st try was a killer blow, and certainly put Featherstone on their way, in the end, to a conclusive win.
What was really a killer blow for you was Bibb's 2nd try coming so soon after the 1st one.
Yeah, well, like I said to some lads, Featherstone really hit a purple patch. Went through about 15 minutes where they scored 2 or 3 tries, and that really knocked us for 6. It took us a lot for us to come back, and I think maybe it would have just, in hindsight, a bit too much for us to come back from. We tried getting a roll on in the 2nd half, but it just wasn't enough.
Are you relieved to have got this one over with? Because when the draw was made, I think a lot of people thought that they might even take you.
Well, that's right. You know, we've read in the papers all week that Dewsbury were confident, and a lot of people were actually tipping them to beat us here at Mount Pleasant today. But ourselves, we worked hard during our week off. We put in a lot of training, and Alan just psyched us right up to be prepared, and we certainly were, I thought.
A year ago, we were talking to you at Leeds. Things didn't quite work out for you at Headingley. How much are you enjoying it here?
Oh, I'm tremendously enjoying it here. I mean, playing here has really, it's broadened my horizon, you see. I'm finally seeing that I can actually enjoy my game, you know. No pressure on me, and the lads are quite helpful, and I love the way they play here, you know, open rugby, and it's good fun, I should say.
Better than playing in the A-team, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely, much better.
This Challenge Cup is always a one-off, and you take it as it comes. You know, we're going to look forward to the draw tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be kind and get a kind draw, but we know we've got to concentrate on the league because we're, you know, 2nd to bottom at the moment, and we definitely need the points to stay in the 1st division. I think that's a priority.
These are the match statistics of 27 scrums. 15 were healed by the home side, 12 by Rovers, none of them against the head. Full credit to Dewsbury for conceding a mere 3 penalties in 80 rousing minutes. Featherstone's concession amounted to 11. Not so impressive was the error count, with Dewsbury putting down 22 passes and Rovers 5 fewer than that.
You can't keep Graham Steadman down. A hat-trick makes him the season's top try-scorer so far as Castleford survive a scare against Hunslet. A dramatic start for Sheffield Eagles. Mark Aston couldn't hold Darryl Powell's overhead pass. Tony Twimavave could at the 2nd attempt. First blood to the Eagles. And with Aston's kick, 1st Division Hull was 6-0 down. They got on the score sheet themselves with the simplest of tries, John Sharp feeding Richard Gay, last week's hero at Rochdale in round 1. He could well be a candidate for the full-back role on the summer tour to Australia, along with Steadman and Featherstone's Chris Bibb challenging Hampson and Tate for the number 1 jersey. This storming run looked sure to bring him a 2nd try, but David Maiko chased him heroically and successfully to keep the 2nd Division team in front at half-time. But Hull cut the deficit to a single point with Sharp's drop goal. The match had too many errors to be a classic, but it was always tense, settled in the end by Mark Jones. The Welshman Boulevard fans have now taken to their hearts, and Paul Eastwood's kick confirmed Hull's passage by 11 points to 6 into the last 8. Also there, Halifax. Doncaster in red shorts were last week's giant killers, but today they met the demolition experts.
The 3rd Division side went in front with Richard Powell's penalty, but Greg Pearce had cancelled that out by the time David Watson dived for the day's first try, the referee consulting his touch judge before confirming it. Halifax have one of the biggest packs in rugby league, even without Brendan Hill, and one of the mightiest members, Adam Fogarty, was next to make his presence felt. Exemplary 3-quarter play coming up now, with just about every member of the back division involved, before Henry Sharp supplied the final inside ball to scorer Jimmy Irvine. Roger Millward has made some positional alterations, and David Watson at full-back instead of centre helped set up the next score for John Fieldhouse. All the time, Greg Pearce was banging over the goals to help Halifax establish a healthy lead, interrupted only by one of the day's best scores, Kiwi Vila Matatia, later to be sent off using brute force to spread eagle Halifax and see his work eventually rewarded with Dick Jazovic's crossing. The Thrum Haulers moved into the 30s soon afterwards, though, this time Fieldhouse giving a passable impersonation of a centre by swerving past full-back Tony Zelli. 36-8 by the interval, the contest over by the time Greg Austin got the most predictable try of the afternoon. Winger Sharp created the next score, a kick under pressure, Warren Wilson juggling, collecting and finally scoring. Rank bad tackling to blame now. Irvine allowed to drag two men over the line with him as Halifax threatened to run up a record score. They didn't, but man of the match Chris Robinson, in because Paul Harkin had flu, sent Austin streaking away for his second try. Of Halifax's regular try scorers, only Mark Preston hadn't by now added to his tally, and he was soon to put that little record straight. Again Robinson, whose huge floated pass cut Doncaster to tatters. Greg Pearce had landed some simple conversions. His 10th was a monumental effort. In fact, the Australian had a monumental day. Doncaster were clearly dispirited by the time Pearce ran through a ragged defence to register Halifax's 11th try. Personal haul of 26 points, Halifax 66, Doncaster 8.
So your full list of the Silk Cut Challenge Cup second round results. Dewsbury 10, Featherstone 23, and Dewsbury have announced record receipts for that. Halifax 66, Doncaster 8. Hunslet 12, Castleford 28. Sheffield 6, Hull 11. Workington 9, London Crusaders 2. In the league, Wakefield's Paul Lord notches a rare try-double to see off Salford. Two-try man of the match Chris Rudd kills off Hulkingston Rovers fight back at Warrington. Here are the scores: Wakefield 27, Salford 10. Warrington 23, Hulkingston Rovers 12. There's the top of the table. Warrington have closed the gap to a single point behind Leeds and Castleford. Wigan stayed top while winning the World Sevens 12,000 miles away in Australia. Wakefield are into the top 8. At the bottom, Salford remain just a place above the relegation zone, disappointing that for a team who played so brightly in the first half of the season. Just the one second division score, sounds more like a soccer result. Carlisle 0, Rochdale 5. No significant change in the table, but that win should ease Rochdale's relegation worries somewhat, though Workington do still have games in hand. Two matches in Division 3, Highfield 34, Whitehaven 26. Huddersfield 78, Nottingham 0. So that keeps Huddersfield well out in front, 2 points clear of Bramley now with a game in hand, and their backs in form. 4 tries each today for Stuart Cocker and Bry McKebby. And now, as they used to say on a different television programme, for something completely different. The man now arriving in a rugby league jersey via London Crusaders reserves is Gary Mason, the former British heavyweight boxing champion. Like any other novice, he starts at the bottom, an almost deserted ground for an alliance match between Sheffield Eagles and the Crusaders. Mason at first just watching from the bench as his teammates show how it's done. Then, after 25 minutes, the moment his weeks of training with Ross Strudwick's team have been leading up to. The few fans who were there witnessed a fairy tale start. How many people have scored a try with their first touch of the ball in competitive rugby league? And the former boxer showed he could tackle too. The Eagles coach had been suitably impressed.
Certainly a big, powerful man, and he's got a bit of mobility. Whether he's left it too late or not to come into rugby league, I think we'll find that out over the next few months. But certainly his first touch of the ball, he scattered 3 or 4 defenders and went over for a very good try. And I'm sure that if he can produce that sort of form for London on a regular basis, then they've got something to work on.
And the question now, can the object of all the attention go on from here?
I think all the skills I had as a rugby union player at school, I think a lot of them, the basic skills, are still there. So it's just a matter of brushing up on the team techniques and my game fitness. And Ross is going to have me knocking at the first team door.
Well, now the scrum down jigsaw, and the man who's had you puzzling for the last 3 weeks has finally been correctly identified. And he is the former Great Britain captain, Brian Noble of Bradford Northern. And the first of the correct entries drawn out came from D.M. Hardacre of Hessel near Hull, who wins an afternoon behind the scenes with the scrum down team. So well done, and here is the new jigsaw. Wonder how long this one will run. As always, a current rugby league personality, and there's an excellent prize to be won. If you think you know already who it is, here's the address: Scrum Down Competition, Yorkshire Television, Kirkstall Road, Leeds, LS3 1JS. The prize is a VIP day out for 4 at the Great Britain-France Test at the Boulevard in Hull on March the 7th. Scrum Down Competition, Yorkshire Television, Kirkstall Road, Leeds, LS3 1JS. And there'll be more pieces next week, and we feature Wigan and Warrington, a mighty encounter, a prize, a place in the Challenge Cup quarter-finals, alongside Featherstone, who came into the giant killer's den today and emerged triumphant. Good night.